First contact gone wrong. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the TSV Hyperion, her dark eyes fixed on the swirling anomaly ahead. The survey vessel's quantum sensors had detected something unprecedented in this unexplored sector of space, a tear in the fabric of reality itself. But before she could order a closer investigation, the ship's AI chimed in with an urgent alert. Captain, multiple vessels emerging from quantum space. Configuration unknown. No match in our database. The bridge crew watched in tense silence as 5 crystalline ships materialized before them, their surfaces refracting starlight in impossible patterns. They were beautiful and terrifying. Organic curves blended with geometric precision in a way that screamed advanced alien engineering. Open all frequencies, Chen ordered, keeping her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Terran survey vessel Hyperion. We come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic contact. The response came not in words but in action. The alien vessels moved with liquid grace, forming a perfect pentagon around the Hyperion. Energy readings spiked across all spectrums. They're scanning us, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from the science station. These readings, Captain, they're using technology we've never encountered before. The energy signatures don't match any known physics models. Chen's fingers tightened on the armrests of her command chair. First contact protocols were clear, but something felt wrong about this encounter. The aliens' aggressive positioning contradicted their apparent technological superiority. Advanced species typically showed more restraint. A harsh, crystalline voice cut through their communication system. Primitive vessel, you have entered Verixi space. Your technological inferiority is noted. Prepare to be boarded and studied. Resistance will result in immediate atomization. Chen allowed herself a small smile. The Verixi had made the same mistake as countless others before them. Assuming humanity's relatively young spacefaring civilization meant technological weakness, they hadn't noticed the quantum core humming beneath the Hyperion's modest exterior, or the adaptive defense systems that had already analyzed and mapped their energy signatures. This is your final warning. The Verixi voice continued. Lower your shields and prepare for boarding. Let me counter with an alternative, Chen replied, activating the ship's combat systems with a subtle gesture. You're going to back off and engage in proper diplomatic channels, or you're about to learn why humanity has survived every first contact that turned hostile. The Verixi ships responded by charging their weapons. Energy cascaded across their crystalline surfaces, building to devastating levels. But Chen had already given the order. The Hyperion's quantum core pulsed once, and reality shifted. The advanced alien vessels suddenly found themselves firing at empty space as Chen's ship executed a quantum slip, not just moving through space, but briefly phasing into another dimension entirely. Target their propulsion systems, Chen ordered as they reappeared behind the Verixi formation. Minimal force. Let's show them why assumptions about human technology are dangerous. The Hyperion's point defense system fired a single burst of concentrated quantum particles. The beam passed straight through the Verixi shields as if they didn't exist, their advanced technology useless against weapons operating on principles they'd never encountered. One of the crystalline ships spun helplessly, its engine core temporarily quantum-locked. The others scattered in obvious confusion, their perfect formation breaking apart. Open a channel again, Chen commanded. Perhaps now our friends are ready for a proper conversation about diplomatic relations and the dangers of underestimating primitive species. The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, but Chen could see the pride in their eyes. Humanity had learned long ago that the best defense wasn't overwhelming force or impenetrable shields. It was the ability to innovate, to think differently, to surprise those who thought they had all the answers. As they waited for the Verixi response, Chen's tactical officer reported more ships emerging from quantum space, much larger ones. The first encounter had been a test, she realized. Now the real challenge would begin. Battle stations, she ordered calmly. and get me a secure channel to Earth Command. Tell them First Contact Protocol 7 is in effect." She paused, allowing herself another small smile. "And remind them that humanity's greatest weapon has always been our ability to surpass expectations." The Verixi were about to learn what countless others had discovered before them. Underestimating humanity was a mistake that was only made once. The power of innovation. The massive Verixi warships filled the view screen, their crystalline structures now pulsing with angry red energy. Earth Command's response to Chen's alert had been brief but clear. "Hold position. Help is coming." Now, as she watched the enemy fleet deploy into an attack formation, she wondered what form that help would take. "Verixi flagship is broadcasting," Rodriguez announced. "System-wide transmission." "Let's hear their ultimatum," Chen said, studying the tactical display where her crew was mapping every detail of the alien vessel's energy signatures. The same crystalline voice from before filled the bridge, but now it carried notes of barely contained rage. "Your resistance is noted, humans. Your primitive quantum manipulations are unexpected, but they will not save you. The Verixi Dominion has conquered 12 species more advanced than yours. Your technology will be absorbed. Your worlds will be harvested. Your species will serve." Lieutenant Kira Patel at Tactical couldn't suppress a short laugh. "They really don't know, do they, Captain?" Chen shook her head. The Verixi, like so many advanced species, had fallen into the trap of linear technological development. They assumed that all races progressed along the same path, just at different speeds. They had no concept of humanity's unique approach to advancement. "Multiple power spikes," Rodriguez warned. "They're charging something big. Energy readings are off the charts." The Verixi ships began to move in perfect synchronization, their crystalline surfaces resonating with each other. Space itself seemed to warp around them as they channeled power into what was clearly their ultimate weapon. "Now would be a good time for that help," Patel muttered. As if in response, Chen's quantum communicator chimed. A familiar voice filled her head through the secure neural link. "Captain Chen, this is Admiral Hassan. The cavalry has arrived. Initiating Project Paradigm in 3, 2, 1. Reality rippled. Behind the Hyperion, space split open in ways that shouldn't be possible. The Verixi assault faltered as their sensors tried to make sense of what was emerging. It wasn't a ship, not in any conventional sense. The human vessel that emerged from the quantum rift defied conventional physics. It shifted and flowed like liquid metal, its form constantly adapting and changing. Its surface was a maze of fractals, each pattern containing smaller copies of itself down to the quantum level. It was beautiful, terrible, and completely impossible by any standard model of engineering. "TSV Mobius successfully deployed," Admiral Hassan's voice announced with quiet pride. "The culmination of 50 years of human quantum engineering. A ship that doesn't just use quantum mechanics. It is quantum mechanics, given form and purpose." The Verixi fleet's perfect formation wavered. Their sensors had to be screaming at them, telling them that what they were seeing couldn't exist. The Mobius violated a dozen laws of physics simultaneously, its very existence a testament to humanity's talent for thinking beyond conventional limitations. "This is Admiral Hassan of the Terran Space Force." A new transmission began, broadcast on all frequencies. "What you are witnessing is not our ultimate weapon. It is merely an example of how humanity approaches problems. While you focused on perfecting existing technologies, we asked questions no one else thought to ask. While you built bigger ships with bigger guns, we reimagined what a ship could be." The Mobius flowed through space like water running uphill, its quantum structure allowing it to exist in multiple states simultaneously. The Verixi weapons that had been charging suddenly powered down. Their crystalline tech was advanced, but it was still bound by conventional physics. They couldn't target something that refused to commit to a single position in space-time. "Their fleet is breaking formation," Hadl reported with satisfaction. "Reading multiple drive signatures powering up. They're preparing to retreat." Let them go, Chen ordered. But make sure our quantum sensors record everything. The way they handle defeat will tell us as much about them as their attack did. As the crystalline ships began to pull back, Chen received another message from Admiral Hassan. Well handled, Captain. But this isn't over. The Verixi won't accept this humiliation easily. They'll be back, and next time they'll bring everything they have. Chen looked at her crew, humans all, representatives of a species that had clawed its way to the stars through innovation and determination. Let them come, she said quietly. Humanity has never backed down from a challenge. And we got more surprises waiting. The Verixi fleet vanished into quantum space, retreating to lick their wounds and reconsider their assumptions about primitive species. Behind them, they left a changed battlefield, and a human crew already planning their next impossible innovation. Because that was humanity's true secret weapon, the ability to look at the impossible and ask, why not? United we stand. The Galactic hub station Unity Point hummed with tension. Representatives from 17 spacefaring civilizations had gathered in the Grand Assembly Chamber, their diverse forms filling the tiered seats. At the center of the chamber, Captain Chen stood beside Admiral Hassan, facing the Galactic Council for the first time. The Verixi ambassador, a crystalline being whose faceted surface rippled with patterns of light, had just finished presenting their version of events. According to them, humanity had violated sovereign space and deployed forbidden weapons of mass destruction. Now they demanded sanctions against Earth. High Counselor Zixtal, an ancient energy being contained within an ornate mechanical shell, turned its sensory arrays toward the human delegation. You stand accused of grave violations of galactic law. The Verixi Dominion's evidence suggests your species has developed weapons that destabilize the very fabric of reality. How do you respond? Admiral Hassan stepped forward, his dark skin contrasting with the stark white of his dress uniform. Honorable Council, we reject these accusations entirely. What the Verixi encountered wasn't a weapon. It was the next step in peaceful space exploration. We call it quantum integration technology. A murmur ran through the assembled aliens as Hassan gestured, and a holographic display materialized in the center of the chamber. It showed the Mobius in action, its impossible form flowing through space. Humanity has always approached problems differently, Hassan continued. When we reached the stars, we didn't try to compete with technologies that other species had spent millennia perfecting. Instead, we asked new questions. Why should a ship be limited to a single state of reality? Why can't it exist in quantum superposition, just like the particles that make up our universe? The Verixi ambassador's crystalline form flashed with angry colors. Lies. This is a weapon designed to. To what? Chen interrupted, stepping forward. To defend ourselves against unprovoked aggression. To protect our worlds from those who would harvest them. She turned to face the council. The Verixi attacked us without provocation, assuming our younger civilization would be easy prey. They were wrong. From the upper tier, a new voice joined the debate. Ambassador Ryle of the Cynthians, a machine race known for their logical analysis, raised a metallic appendage. We have analyzed the sensor data provided by both parties. The human quantum integration technology, while revolutionary, shows no signs of being weaponized. In fact, our simulations suggest it could revolutionize peaceful space exploration. More voices joined in, more races taking sides. The Merid Collective, organic hive minds who had suffered Verixi aggression in the past, pledged support to humanity. The Astral Nomads, energy beings who had watched humanity's rise with curiosity, offered to share their own quantum research. The Verixi ambassador's form crystallized into sharp, aggressive patterns. You cannot trust them. They are primitives who stumbled upon powers they cannot comprehend. Their very existence threatens galactic stability. No, came a new voice, deep and resonant. All eyes turned to the previously silent representative of the Eldari, one of the oldest races in known space. The ancient being's multifaceted eyes studied the humans thoughtfully. They threaten only stagnation. For 10,000 years, we have all followed the same paths of technological development. Humanity brings something new, not just in their technology, but in their way of thinking. The Eldari rose, its iridescent robes catching the light. We have watched Earth since they first split the atom. They advance not in straight lines, but in quantum leaps. Where we see limitations, they see possibilities. Where we build upon the old, they imagine the new. The ancient being turned to the council. I move that we not only dismiss these charges but invite humanity to share their quantum integration technology with any race that wishes to learn. The chamber erupted in debate. The Verixi ambassador's form shattered and reformed in rage. But Chen noticed something important. More and more races were looking at humanity not with fear or disdain, but with interest and hope. Admiral Hassan leaned close to whisper in her ear. This is what Earth Command was hoping for. The Verixi's aggression has given us the perfect opportunity to reshape the galactic order. Not through force, but through innovation. Chen nodded, watching as alliances shifted and reformed before her eyes. The Verixi had wanted to paint humanity as dangerous primitives. Instead, they had revealed them as agents of change in a galaxy desperate for new ideas. The Council will vote, High Counselor Zixtal announced. But Chen already knew how it would go. She could see it in the way the other races were looking at them now, not as upstart primitives, but as equals who had something unique to offer. Humanity's greatest weapon had never been their technology. It was their ability to inspire others to see the universe in new ways. And that was a force no empire could stand against. Breaking point. The Verixi response to the Galactic Council's decision was swift and brutal. Their entire armada, over 3,000 crystalline warships, emerged from quantum space at the edge of the Sol system. The message they broadcast was simple: submit or be destroyed. Admiral Hassan stood on the bridge of the Mobius, watching the tactical display as the enemy fleet approached Earth's defensive perimeter. Beside him, Captain Chen had been promoted to fleet commander, coordinating humanity's response to this existential threat. They really don't learn, do they? Chen mused, studying the Verixi formation. All that power, all that advanced technology, and they're still thinking in straight lines. The enemy fleet had arranged itself into a perfect geometric pattern, their crystalline ships resonating in harmony to generate a combined energy field that could theoretically crack a planet. It was their ultimate expression of power, and their greatest weakness. All ships report ready, Hassan's tactical officer announced. The Cynthian and Merid vessels are in position. The Eldari observers stand by to record everything. Hassan nodded. When the Verixi had launched their attack, they had expected to find Earth standing alone. Instead, humanity's new allies had rushed to their defense, but not with ships and weapons. That wasn't what humanity had asked for. Send the signal, Hassan ordered. Let's show them what happens when you combine human innovation with alien expertise. Across Earth's defensive line, 30 ships, each one a unique blend of human quantum engineering and alien technology, activated their new drives simultaneously. The Cynthians had contributed their mastery of artificial intelligence. The Merid had shared their understanding of collective consciousness. The Eldari had provided insights into the fundamental nature of reality itself. The result was something even the Verixi's advanced sensors couldn't comprehend. The human ships didn't just enter quantum superposition. They linked their quantum states, creating a neural network that existed partially outside normal spacetime. Each vessel became a node in an impossibly complex consciousness that could perceive and react to events before they even happened. They're charging their primary weapons, Chen reported calmly. Preparing to fire. The Verixi fleet unleashed their combined power, a beam of pure energy that could shatter worlds. But the human ships, guided by their quantum-linked AI and moving with perfect coordination, were already responding to an attack that technically hadn't happened yet. The defensive lines split apart with impossible precision, the energy beam passing harmlessly through the gaps. Then the human ships moved, not as individual vessels but as extensions of a single quantum consciousness. Remember, Hassan transmitted to the fleet, our goal isn't to destroy them. Show them why humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to bring people together. The 30 ships flowed through space like a school of fish, their quantum-linked state allowing them to coordinate perfectly. They didn't fire weapons or launch attacks. Instead, they began to resonate with the Virixi fleet's crystalline structure. The effect was immediate and devastating. The perfect geometric pattern of the Virixi armada began to distort as their ship's crystalline resonance was disrupted by quantum interference patterns. Their mighty energy field fluctuated and collapsed. Their fleet is losing cohesion, the tactical officer reported. The crystalline matrices are destabilizing. Open a channel, Hassan ordered. All frequencies. When he spoke again, his voice carried across space to every ship in both fleets. You came here expecting to find primitive savages wielding crude weapons. Instead, you found something your crystals couldn't compute. A species that doesn't seek to dominate, but to understand. We didn't build better weapons. We found better ways to work together. On the tactical display, hundreds of Virixi ships were already breaking formation, their perfect crystal structures unable to maintain integrity in the face of the quantum disruption. But they weren't being destroyed, just forced to operate as individual vessels rather than a single overwhelming force. Your ships are intact, Hassan continued. Your crews are unharmed. We could have developed weapons to shatter your crystal matrices, but that's not who we are. Instead, we learned to sing in harmony with the quantum fabric of space itself, and we invited others to join that song. Chen watched as the mighty Virixi armada fell into disarray. They're receiving transmissions from their homeworld, she reported. Multiple channels. Their ruling council appears to be arguing with itself. Hassan allowed himself a small smile. That's what happens when you build your civilization on the idea of perfect unity. The slightest discord becomes a crisis. The quantum-linked human fleet held position, a demonstration of power more effective than any weapon. They had defeated the galaxy's most feared military power not through superior firepower, but by showing them a completely different way of existing in space. As the Virixi fleet began to retreat in confusion, Hassan turned to Chen. Send word to Earth Command. Tell them Phase 1 is complete. Now comes the hard part, teaching an empire of crystals how to bend without breaking. A new dawn. 1 year after the Battle of Seoul, the Unity Point station had changed. Where once there had been rigid segregation between species, now representatives of all races mingled freely in its corridors. And at the heart of this transformation was a new addition to the station, the Quantum Integration Academy. Captain Chen, now Admiral Chen, stood at the Academy's observation deck, watching students from 24 species study the basics of human quantum engineering. Among them were several Virixi, their crystalline forms somehow less rigid than before, displaying subtle variations that would have been unthinkable in their former empire. Quite a change from our first meeting, a familiar voice said. Chen turned to find Admiral Hassan approaching, accompanied by High Counselor Zixtal and the former Virixi ambassador, now designated as Speaker Lix. The Academy has exceeded all expectations, Zixtal's mechanical shell hummed. When humanity first proposed this initiative, many doubted it could succeed. Teaching quantum integration seemed impossible, but once again, humans proved us wrong. Speaker Lix's crystalline form shifted, and what Chen had learned was a gesture of agreement. We thought we had mastered space travel, reached the pinnacle of possible technology. We were so certain of our superiority that we never considered alternative paths of development. Below them, a young Virixi student was working with a Synthian and a human instructor, their combined efforts producing a small-scale quantum field that defied conventional physics. The sight would have been impossible just a year ago. That's what makes humans different, Hassan said, watching the demonstration. We never assume we've reached the pinnacle of anything. There's always another question to ask, another approach to try. Chen remembered the battle that had brought them to this point, not for its tactical brilliance, but for what it represented. We could have developed weapons to shatter crystal matrices or disrupt quantum fields. Instead, we chose to create something new. A choice that has reshaped the galaxy, Zixtal observed. The old power structures are dissolving. The Verixi Empire has transformed into the Crystal Consensus, joining the Galactic Council as equals rather than conquerors. Other races are following suit. Speaker Lix's surface rippled with complex patterns, emotion displayed in ways that would have once been considered a flaw in Verixi society. We thought unity meant uniformity. Humans showed us that true strength comes from diversity, from the combination of different perspectives and approaches. A commotion from below drew their attention. The student group had successfully generated a stable quantum envelope, a feat that had once required an entire ship's worth of equipment. The human instructor was beaming with pride, while the Verixi student's crystalline form glowed with achievement. "The next generation will go further than we ever imagined," Hassan said softly. "Not because we gave them better technology, but because we showed them better ways to work together." Chen nodded, remembering the fear and tension of that first encounter with the Verixi fleet. Our secret weapon was never the quantum technology or the innovative tactics. It was our ability to imagine a different future and help others imagine it too. A lesson we needed to learn, Speaker Lix admitted. The crystal can be strong without being rigid, just as unity can exist without uniformity. High Counselor Zixtal's mechanical shell hummed thoughtfully. The galaxy is changing. Old empires are becoming learning centers. Former enemies are working together to solve problems no single species could tackle alone. And at the heart of it all is humanity's gift, not the technology itself, but the mindset that created it. We still have a long way to go, Hassan cautioned. Change doesn't come easily to any species. But Chen was watching the students below. Human, Verixi, Cynthian, Merid, and a dozen other races, all working together to unlock the mysteries of quantum integration. In their collaboration, she saw the future they had fought for. "Maybe that's humanity's real contribution to the galaxy," she said, "not teaching others how to bend quantum reality, but showing them how to bend without breaking, how to change without losing themselves." As if to emphasize her words, the quantum envelope below expanded, its impossible geometries reflecting the combined insights of multiple species working in harmony. It was beautiful, not despite its inconsistencies, but because of them, just like the new galactic society taking shape around them. The old empires had sought to impose order through force and fear. Humanity had shown there was another way, a path of innovation, cooperation, and endless possibility. And in doing so, they had achieved what no amount of military might could have accomplished. They had changed the galaxy not by conquering it, but by inspiring it to change itself.